these manifestations of man's wrath and man's power, when he seems to usurp his Maker's attributes and to mimic his thunder. The divine spark kindled within him has taught him how to draw these metals from the earth's bosom, how to combine these simple materials so as to produce with them an effect as terrible as the thunderbolts of heaven. His earthly passions have prompted him so to wield these instruments of destruction as to deface God's image in his fellow men. The power is so divine, the causes that impel him to use that power are so paltry. The intellect that creates these messengers of death is so near akin to divinity, the motives that put them in action are so poor, so degrading even to humanity. On the third there was a shower of bombs and shells from the citadel, of which some fell into the palace, and one in our late residence, the Mint. An engagement took place in the Virga, and though Bustamante's party were partially victorious, it is said that neither has much reason to boast of the result. General Espinosa, an old insurgent, arrived at the village last night, and sent to request some horses from the hacienda, which were sent him with all convenient speed, that he might not, according to his usual plan, come and take them. In exchange for some half dozen farm horses in good condition, he sent half a dozen lean, wretched-looking quadrupeds, the bones coming through their skin, skeletons fit for dissection. News have just arrived to the effect that last night at 3 o'clock Bustamante suddenly left the city, drawing off all his troops from the turrets, and leaving General Orbegoso in the palace with 100 men. It was generally reported that he had marched into the interior to bring about a federal revolution, but it appears that he has arrived at Guadalupe and there taken up his quarters. A loud cannonading has been kept up since 10 o'clock, which keeps us all idle, looking out for the smoke and counting the number of discharges. 6th. A messenger has brought the intelligence that there had been more noise and smoke than slaughter, the cannons being planted at such distances that it was impossible they could do much execution. Numerous bulletins are distributed, some violently in favor of Bustamante and federalism, full of abuse and dread of Santa Anna, others lauding that general to the skies as the savior of his country. The allied forces being in numbers double those of Bustamante, there is little doubt of the result. 7th. A capitulation. Santa Anna is triumphant. He made his solemn entry into Mexico last evening, Generals Valencia and Canalizo being at the head of the united forces. Not a solitary viva was heard as they passed along the streets, nor afterwards during his speech in Congress. Te Deum was sung this morning in the cathedral, the archbishop in person receiving the new president. We have just returned from Mexico, where we went in search of apartments, and with great difficulty have found rooms in the hotel of the Calle Vegara, but we shall remain here a day or two longer. There is no great difference in the general appearance of the city, except that the shops are reopened, and that most of the windows are broken. Immediately after the morning ceremony, Santa Anna returned to the archbishop's palace at Tacubaya, which residence he prefers to the president's palace in Mexico. His return there, after his triumphant entry into the capital, was very much en rio. A retinue of splendid coaches, with fine horses, going at full speed. The General's carriage drawn by 4 beautiful white horses belonging to Don F. M., the very same that were sent to bring us into Mexico, brilliant aides de camp, and an immense escort of cavalry. Thus concludes the Revolution of 1842, though not its effects. The new ministry up to this date are Señor Gomez Pedraza for Foreign and Home Relations, Castillo en Petit Avocat, from Guadalajara, said to be a furious federalist and Latin scholar, for public instruction, General Tornel for War and Marine, and Señor Dufo for the Treasury. Valencia proposed Paredes for the War Department, but he declined, saying, "No, no, General, I understand you very well. You want to draw me from off my division." Those who know Bustamante best, even those who most blame him for indecision and want of energy, agree on one point, that the true motives of his conduct are to be found in his constant and earnest desire to spare human life. End of letter the 45th.